The Black & Decker 20-volt reciprocating saw that you can buy from Amazon anywhere from $50 to about $75 depending on the time of year when you get it. Here it is. That's the size of the box. It's roughly about 5 to 6 pounds. And opening it up, you have the instructions, and it's in French, Spanish, and of course English. And inside here you have the actual saw. Let's take a look at it. See it pulsating. You'll see it pulsating. And let's put this down here on the ground. It has this lock here to stop it from going, just like a safety on a firearm would. You press it back the other way to the unlock position and you get it going again. One good thing to know about this is that you see this battery down here that you can slide off and slide back on. Here are the inputs to dial in on the unit. This does not come inside the box. This actually is something you would have to buy separate if you don't already own a Black & Decker device that you might have for a Black & Decker weed whacker or a Black & Decker drill. So if you have one of those, you don't need to go and buying another one, except if you want extended battery life, that a lot of people say that this will wear your reciprocating saw down because the battery life supposedly is not a lot. So there it is. You would snap it in. And just to be 100% clear with you, it does come with an attachment that can easily get lost. So while you're opening it, make sure that it doesn't slide on out of the box like mine was, even though the box was closed, because these can easily get lost before you even get a chance to use it, or you get in contact with the company and Amazon or wherever you got it from and say, hey, my device didn't come with a saw. I got the actual machine, but not the actual serrated blade. So what you might want to do is open the box very carefully, even when you're cutting the plastic that seals the box, so this won't slide out. It's amazing how many times I've seen these getting lost just in unboxing. And it comes in a thin plastic encasing. And of course you want to watch your fingers and not get caught. You want to hold it from the end that does not have the serration. And what will help you is to put the actual gun, the saw, in a locked position. So while you're putting it on, it won't necessarily start moving. Then you're going to insert it. And let's be honest, just as in with firearm, you don't want to just rely on just one ammo. So when you're ordering this, you might want to consider some projects you might want to do, as well as if the blade gets lost. So WorkPro provides a solution for that. The company WorkPro makes a box set of 32 pieces that you can attach to your reciprocating saw. Here it is. And this is anywhere from about $20 to about $35. And let's unbox this too, so you'll see what you're getting from WorkPro company. And where we'll pick up that trash at the end, because we want to leave nature as well as we found it. And inside here it has some instructions. Okay, we don't need it at the moment, but those instructions are going to be explaining how to care for your blades, as well as how to attach it to the reciprocating saw. In this case, being from the company Black & Decker. So it conveniently comes in a case, a carrying case that looks like this, right? So you can easily organize and protect your blades. And opening it up, you have a colorful assortment of different sizes, and they're all sharp. Okay, you might not want to press down on it too hard. That's what you're gonna get. Here's the back. It almost looks like a tool belt, but both sides have pieces of Velcro. You're gonna put the flap in, close it like that, and it will make its way around, and you can close it. It'll look like a small burrito that you can put into your tool belt, toolbox, your waist pack, and take along with you for whatever project that you might be ready to do. So that's the, oh, you might be thinking whether to get the warranty or not, the 3-year warranty or the 4-year warranty offered by different companies. It's up to you. Some people want to gamble and not get it. If it's, I would say, anywhere from $10 to about $14 for 4 years, you might get it. Some people talk about Black & Decker as if their best days are behind them because their parts are now made inferior. I haven't had any problem with Black & Decker, but it's ultimately up to you what's in your budget and how much you want to spend on this. The other thing I want to show you that you might have a question about is how to attach the blade to the saw, because that's something that many times, if you're not comfortable using tools like a reciprocating saw or have experience doing it, I won't take it for granted that you may not know how to attach it. So just give me a minute while I set that up. So as promised, I had to relocate because it started to rain. I'm going to show you how to attach and release this blade. So the first thing we want to do always is make sure, just like a firearm, it's that it's in the locked position. If you want to be extra safe, and for a lot of you beginners, this might be very important to you, you want to release the battery by pressing here and just put it aside for a second while we change this blade. Here, right by the neck, we have a release lever which you pull up, and that releases the blade right there, right here. And then to put it back in, to reinsert it, put it up, put it in. Okay, I'm doing the reverse, and now it's attached. Here's a visual, here's a closer visual, and you want to pull on it to see that it's sturdy. It's going to shake a little bit because it is a reciprocating saw. It's not going to be so fixed that it won't move at all. But this is the way it will look. Let's re-engage it. And the next thing we want to do is put in the battery. And batteries, just keep them dry as possible. Let me show you from the side. Unlock. The instructions also state that you cannot, or you should not, place this on top of any object. Of course, cover it, probably for the better. You don't want anybody sitting on this, or if it's unlocked, which it shouldn't be unlocked if you're not using it, someone just hurts themselves with it. Also, when you're cutting it, you don't want to have your finger near the surface of anywhere where you're cutting. Your limbs are very important, and they rarely, if ever, that I've seen in my lifetime, grow back just because of wanting to. So let's see how it works. And just a brief note, for the purposes of this video, one of the toughest parts is finding some wood, some log, some tree that you can use for the experiment that is not necessarily disrupting the ecosystem. And by the ecosystem, I mean, even though this is a deserted place, you see how quickly wildlife comes back and might be using something that you are cutting for landing, for its survival, for its nest. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't hurt to be mindful in your actions. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the safety off. Of course, it should have been on so you won't get hurt. And now it's off. And next thing we want to do, especially, is protect your vision, because guess what? Eyes don't grow back either. So you want to put on some kind of protective eyewear and then begin safety is off. And that took about 2 seconds. That piece was a little tougher and it took about 4 seconds. You see, it does work. And for how long? Well, we don't know, but that's a brief introduction. Get a better background going to the reciprocating saw from Black & Decker. Another thing you might want to do is keep it dry, right? It's beginning to drizzle, so anything that adds moisture to electronic parts as well as parts that can get rusted, you might want to dry it. You can use a air dryer, right? Not just a air compressor that you might have for your computers to dry this down on a day that's drizzling like this. The other thing you want to keep in mind is that make sure when you're taking it off that it's off. I can't tell you how many times I've seen teachers and instructors with missing fingers, right? But that shouldn't stop you from working with it the safe way. There's always a safe way and a dangerous way, a not so safe way, to go about these types of projects. What you would use this for, I can see these coming in handy when you're camping and there's a big brush or you're trying to get by an area with thorns. As a photographer, sometimes you got to go into areas that are not so cleaned up and there are a lot of dead branches blocking your access to somewhere that would make a perfect shooting spot. What else can I say about this? Since it has so much power and the battery's only 20 volts, just use it in short spurts and only when you know you're ready to cut, not just playing with it like if it was a water pistol. Another thing I can say about it, get another battery. Get a few. Maybe you want to have 3. I think one battery is about $35. You probably can get it cheaper. There's Memorial Day coming up. So you might want to stock up on a few of these. You don't want to get caught on a project without being able to use the tools that you invested in. It's like when you're shooting, right? In photography, you don't want to be out there and you have your perfect shot, but now your battery's flashing that it's not prepared. It only has a few more shots before it expires. Another thing that you might want to know about this is the weight. So just know if you're going to be up on a scaffolding or just being harnessed up to cut some trees, branches off trees, just know that you will feel this weight if you have a tool belt and you have a lot of other tools with you. And eye gear, of course, already went over. On a day like today that it's the elements are amongst us, you might want to wear a hoodie. It's fine, but just know that this does not have a hoodie and it needs to be covered, so you might want to bring some kind of plastic bag to wrap it up in. You might also want to get something to wrap your blade in while you're transporting it if you don't have any more space on your tool belt. You might also want to bring some kind of WD-40 in case it gets rusted because of the elements, or some kind of oil that can take off rust if it ever gets to that point. I'm trying to think, as someone who reviews, you want to think about what could happen in the worst case scenarios. that you try to anticipate what happens instead of reacting to what happens. And that's a life lesson there for anyone that is ever in a position of needing to know what to expect. Just plan ahead. Also plan on answering questions as to what some of you might be experiencing, and also know that you might answer somebody else's question by you asking the questions. And anytime you're asking somebody the question, know that other people already have the answer, but they just never have been asked. Asking is a path that can get you, can make a road that can get you as far or further than you ever thought you can go. We don't all know it all. And some of the things, and some people might have experience with this, and some people might not have a lot of experience with these things. But just know everybody had their start date, and everybody had the question at one point, whether you learn when you're 4 or when you're 84. There are no dumb questions, just egos that get bruised because someone is telling them this is how you do it. But if you, excuse me, if you begin from a place of respect and politeness and genuinely wanting to help people, it doesn't matter if you have to tell someone how to do something in a more efficient way, or just learn from that person, from their experiences. We all have different experiences, and they all can help you get further along, regardless of how you look like and regardless of your age. That has been the Black & Decker 20 volt reciprocating saw from the Black & Decker company. Have a good day.